Welcome to Bealtaine Cottage. Jack, are you going to say hello? Come on. For those of you who are new to the channel, this is Bealtaine Cottage on the first day that I saw it. Single glazed windows. I kept the frames and I had double glazing put in. Had to save up for that for quite some time. And I had the gravel driveway, etc. put in. You can read all about this in my book, A Cottage in 3 Acres, because I detail the beginning of my journey. And this was the cottage from the road. So where the entrance is now, this was it as I looked up the road, the driveway, in May 2004. So you can get a pretty good impression of how the land was, really. And this is it looking down from the cottage, down the driveway, again in 2004. And May, this was May, yeah. Incredible really, isn't it? Seems like a very long time ago. This picture was taken of my mother, stood in the side garden in 2006. So the tunnel had been up a year and I had, got rid of most of the rushes by mowing them, and I've done some planting, the beginnings of the planting. My first cut of the microgreens. I don't know how many weeks it's been, possibly about 3. Has it been about 3 weeks since the beginning? Anyway, they're all up well over the top of the box. So I've done my first cut, and as you can see, just from looking at this angle, I've cut them down to about, about an inch and a half, 2 inches high. So I've done about a quarter of the box, that's all. Look. And I've got a beautiful colander full of microgreens. So all my lovely cut and come again. So there's rocket and kale and lettuce and fennel and all kinds of beautiful greens in there. Success! I actually sowed the seeds on the 19th of April. I've just checked it up, and these are them coming up. And if you remember, they were all old seeds, okay? And following hot on the heels of my microgreens, I created this little hanging basket full of lettuce leaves, and it is just literally lettuce leaves. So, again, a lovely slug-free position, and it'll just be a case of cut and come again. Look, things are growing faster than what I can keep up with them. Now I've just foraged some beautiful chives, including the flowers, which are very tasty, and some fennel. This is some of the green fennel. This is gorgeous. So what I'm going to do now is go in and chop up this salad really finely, so all the tastes begin to merge. I'm beginning to salivate. It's always hard to resist filming flowers and lushness. It's just virtually impossible. I never ever get bored with everything that grows. Such incredible abundance. Do you remember this bed just a couple of months ago, and it was just overflowing with ground elder, which is incredibly invasive. It's very hard to see any ground elder now, isn't it? Because there are much stronger plants growing in there, and they're perennial plants. And they just push out the ground elder. Lots of little insects flying about this morning, which is good news for the birds. This is another incredible aspect of an organic garden, because when you garden organic, you're not killing anything. You are more of a conductor of the orchestra. You're not a crazed psycho killer of the orchestra. And so there's this perfect balance which finds a way through gardening problems. It seems to overcome all the issues that so many people say, oh, this is a problem, that is a problem in the garden. And so when you stop striving for man-made perfection, and instead you start to appreciate Mother Earth's perfection, you come to this. This is what I love. I love to feel the awe of the natural world and know that I'm part of it, and I'm not killing it, and I'm not trying to own it. I'm supporting it. And this is why the polytunnel has become a sanctuary for me, a place of retreat, a place of meditation, a place of comfort as well, because it comforts my soul. When I come in here and I see the flowers and just the sheer fullness of it all, knowing that within here there are many, many little species living, because it's yet another microclimate within the entire garden. And look at those foxgloves. I mean, just look at them. And the honeysuckle is about to flower. It's a beautiful canopy now, just inside the door of the tunnel. So let's walk down into the fairy wood. Now I'm probably filming far too many clips, and when I put them all together it's probably going to be quite a long video. But there's just so much to show you this morning. because we've had, about a week of wet weather. Oh, look, distracted again. Look at all the blossom coming out on the rowan tree, the rebirthed rowan tree. What a healthy girl she is now. Look at that. It's been a very wet week, and it's been cold as well, and it's been stormy and windy, but everything has survived, everything's come through it, as it does. And we're now set for some glorious weather. So before my woodland gardens become a thick jungle, I'm going to endeavour to show you some of the beautiful plants and life that's springing eternal here. So I'm just walking down in parallel with the stream that comes from the spring well, going down towards the bridge, a little bridge over the stream. That's just sheer bedrock down there. That's why the water's running so smoothly. No, this isn't quite the 17-year remake of what Bealtaine Cottage looks like. I did one after 13 years, and that's the flagship video on this site. But I'm going to wait until it's warmed up a little bit more, because we're a little bit behind now in terms of growth. And I really wanted to make the video in May, because that's when I first walked onto this property. And yeah, there's a few photographs that I've just inserted here so you can see what it looked like. But I will be making another video on what Bealtaine Cottage looks like after 17 years. If not the end of May, the beginning of June. Okay, so I'm going to give it just a little bit longer for everything to come back into how it should look in May. This has been quite a cold spring. So yeah, so this is a little bit of a prelude to that. And of course one of the big changes, which I'm going to make sure I put into the video, is the fact that there's now a running stream here. I did some major engineering works on my own last winter, and I got the stream running, which it never used to, because there was a kind of a leak going on underneath the road here, and it used to just go into the ditch and then silently wend its way down. But those of you who know what I've done will appreciate that I've redirected the water, and now I've got this beautiful stream. So in fact the entire system is going to be one long stream as opposed to a series of ponds. I'll keep little bits of the ponds and little bits of wetlands, but mainly it's going to be stream. So I'll just continue on up the drive. And there's just been so much change here, you know, which again I will document thoroughly in that 17-year anniversary video. You can see all the daisies out. So it's just beginning to fill in. There's this wonderful canopy starts to develop and then stays in place right up until the end of October, beginning of November. What I love most though about the Bealtaine Project is the way that it's taken the silent spring, and I'm quoting Rachel Carson here, that silent spring look, sound and feel away from this land. This land is no more part of the awful prophecy that was Silent Spring. Rachel Carson, of course, is highly esteemed as the founder, the sort of kickstarter of the environmental movement, when she wrote her book Silent Spring. And if you haven't read it, it's one of those books that is shocking, and yet I won't say life-changing, I'll say mind-changing, because how our minds are impacted upon all the time from the media changes our outlook. You know, it sometimes disturbs our outlook. But with Rachel Carson's Silent Spring, it changes our minds. It impacts in a way that teases us to look at Mother Earth rather than the Earth. You know, so many academics and scientists and influencers refer to Earth as the Earth, and I was recently re-watching that video about Highgrove, and I've actually posted a link to that on this channel, so you can find that. But Prince Charles was talking about, you know, the organic, the importance of organic growing and planting, not just vegetables and stuff for us, but really to keep the entire land organic, to keep it in its most purest form. And, you know, I'm 65 now, so I can remember the huge criticism that man got in the early days and all the way through. I mean, the press were making fun of him. They were making fun of his beliefs on how it is we should interact with Mother Earth. So I was re-watching and re-listening to that wonderful interview that Alan Titchmarsh did with him on Highgrove. And as I say, the link is here. But do you know the one thing that I picked out from it? Because you hear something new each time you watch a video. Do you realise that? You actually get to appreciate more of what is being said or what is being shown. He refers all the time to nature as her. Her. And so even before James Lovelock came up with his whole hypothesis and theory on Mother Earth, and, you know, as Gaia, as this living sentient being, Charles was talking about her. So, you know, and again, regardless of what one feels for his, you know, choices and his life, whatever, or with the monarchy, whatever it is, you know, because people get very picky about stuff. I would just rather focus on that one incredibly great thing that he has done. He has held that space all these years against the most nasty of criticism. He's held that space, the space that says, this is how we should do it. And this is how I do it. And I've never met the man. I've never really thought too much about what he does or doesn't do. But I think at the same time as he was evolving his connection with Mother Earth, I was certainly evolving mine. And I think many of you have done the same. There's been so many of us on this incredible journey with her. With her. I think those two words are so important. With her. Have a lovely day. Have a lovely Saturday. Have a lovely weekend. I've got absolutely masses of wonderful work now here in the gardens to be getting on with. That makes me happy. I love to be with her. So blessings to you all. Blessings. You can support Bealtaine Cottage and the work I do across social media by buying any one of my books. That's the first one, A Cottage in 3 Acres. That tells the story of how Bealtaine Cottage came into being. There are books, maps, a calendar printed each year and bumper stickers, and the link to purchasing any of these can be found below every video. All are printed here in Ireland in my local town. and all are posted from Ireland in my local post office.